our, mentor and all our friend Jai Shankar Sharma sir for being joining us today. And it's a moment of celebration also because Jai Shankar Sharma sir has also been nominated for a prestigious Distinguished Alumnus Award for my IIT Kanpur. So I think it's a moment of clap and proud for all of us. Certainly, he has been dedicatedly working for companies of IIT Kanpur and also with the people wholeheartedly for last many years. And I have seen his dedication quite personally. Number of companies, including the company which you will hear today, Mr. Ankit Patel, AIPL. So he has been closely working with the company. And Ankit can tell you the story that how his company from a PPT company, just from the idea-based company, he has become the TRL1, TRL2, TRL3, TRL4, TRL5, TRL6, and now it is almost like a TRL8, 9, and certain projects they have even achieved the more than 9 level TRL. And mentors like Jai Shankar Sharma has played a vital role in doing so. So I'm extremely delighted to welcome Mr. Jai Shankar Sharma. Along with that, I'm also delighted to invite our own Ankit Patel. Ankit has tremendously demonstrated that in a difficult time, how he can develop and deliver very complicated projects, whether it is related to the ONGC project in Banaras or the setting up the ventilator, the oxygen plant. So he has the ability to solve the complex technical problems in a simplistic form. So and number of problems that he has solved, not been solved or not been done by anywhere else. So that he will tell you that how to decipher that problem into the smaller bits, and he can tell you in stages what the innovators fail, particularly for the manufacturing companies, are very important. And then also we have Mr. Akshay Singh. I think he's joining for the first time with us, but welcome, Mr. Akshay Singh, and I will be very glad to hear your views on how to develop the companies. So I think just to a little bit tell you about what is Make in India and why it is so essential for us to understand that why the TRL level, achieving the TRL level is so important for us. Now, the Prime Minister has already talked about the Atmanirbhar Bharat and self-reliant India. And without, like, we have been borrower of technology and innovation for a very long time. Like whenever we need something, we have bought things from outside, whether in defense sector, whether it's in health care sector, whether in communication sector, you name it. And if you look around, all the technology which has been provided, which are used by us, are imported technologies. So somehow we have to realize that such a large country, such a growing nation, we have to start developing our own innovation. We have to start having the expertise, what is there in the West. Our engineers are capable of doing that in the West, but why can't they do it here? For that reason, the IIT Kanpur has taken a step in nurturing the companies like AIPL, which are working on complex critical problems and prepare the solutions right here using the completely indigenous technology. They are not the aggregator of solution, which like number of times, like what you heard about assembly. So they don't do assembly of equipments, bring it from China, bring it from Taiwan, and then do the assembly and then provide to India. They create solution right here. They design and develop the solution, productize it, and sell it to the end customers. So it is important for us to understand that how these engineering problems are solved, how they are deciphered, and why it is so important for moving ahead in the ladder, which is like TRL4 to TRL6. And I don't think that you can get better insights than Ankit and Akshay under the guidance of Jai Shankar Sharma. So with this, I'll stop. Thanks a lot to all of you for coming and listening to this very interesting webinar. And thanks for our mentorship team, Vatsala, for organizing this for all of our startups. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. So I would like to, just a second. Yeah, so I would like to share with you the topic once again of the session. The topic is becoming an accomplished venture, driving through the valley of mortality, TRL 4 to TRL 6. Before starting the session, as I said, I would like to introduce the speaker of the session, Mr. Shankar Sharma. He has been introduced by Nikhil sir in a brief, but I would like to share a little more information with us, which might motivate us to listen to him with more attention. So, Sir is an alumnus of IIT Kanpur, batch 1977. He has been leading a one-man army in Bangalore in support of the institute and its alumni association. He has been amongst the founders of the IIT Kanpur Alumni Association's Bangalore chapter in 2007 and 2008, which is the institute's most active alumni chapter, and was one of the principal drivers of IIT Kanpur's highly lauded Golden Jubilee celebrations in Bangalore. During this Golden Jubilee celebration in Bangalore, he has secured major sponsorships for the mega celebrations. He was very active in mobilizing and coordinating with people, resources, and agencies to ensure the success of the event. Following this Golden Jubilee celebration in 2010, in IIT Kanpur Alumni Association in Bangalore, it has become the most prominent and active chapter of IIT Kanpur and the fountainhead of all alumni activities throughout India. He has also been instrumental in the development of Master Startup class in January 2015, which has become the most prestigious, one of the most prestigious pan IIT initiatives. There he conducted 20 classes nationwide, including IITK, and attracting such startup luminaries like Michael Jones, the ex-CEO of MySpace, V.V. Jagadish, the co-founder of Exodus, and many such more important people. Since then, the master startup classes have been organized throughout India, including twice at IIT Kanpur, where the first one featured our UP Chief Minister, Mr. Yogi Adityanath. And the second one was in February 2020. Jaishankar, as shared by Nikhil sir, that Jaishankar sir's selfless, dedicated, and incalculable contributions and service to IIT Kanpur have been for the past several decades. He has been nominated for the Distinguished Service Award for IIT Kanpur. Sir has also been nominated in the high-level advisory board of India's first quantum computing tech park, which is the Greater Karnavati Quantum Computing Technology Park by park promoter Inaugurus. And also, as Nikhil sir has introduced Ankit, Mr. Ankit Patel from the company Aquafront Infrastructure Private Limited. He is our own startup, and today Jaishankar sir has brought another person to help us understand this topic better, Mr. Akshay Singh. Akshay is the founder of Evigway Technologies. They are catering to the defense sector and to the nation widely. So thank you so much to all our three speakers for joining us, and over to you, Jaishankar sir, for the session.
Thank you very much, Batsalaji. Thank you very much, Dr. Nikhilji. It's a great that this opportunity has come to me. And this time we have just discussed inside, and we decided to change the format of this presentation a little bit. Instead of talking just on TRL, technology readiness level, 1 to 9, etc., which is easily available everywhere on the sites, we thought, why not to bring a few successful who has struggled through these TRL sessions, phases, right from 1 to 9. And they realized that they could do that because of good planning. Two speakers, Ankit Patel and Akshay Singh, they will share how they anticipated the difficult terrain, level 4 to 6, which is famously or infamously known as Valley of Mortality. Many startups struggle and they have lot of difficulties, and some 80% kind of population, they basically do not survive after six. So in the last few years, we see the emergence of a great culture in our country, and thanks to our great leadership, Professor Karandikar ji, Dr. Nikhil ji, Professor Ankush Sharma ji, and Professor Amitabh Bandyopadhyay ji. I worked greatly, very intimately with Professor Amitabh Bandyopadhyay ji, who really, I remember the days when number of incubatees was very, very small, very, very small. Now I believe that we have crossed 190 incubatees, and many are doing exceedingly well with very high valuations. So cutting short, what I will do that I will not spend too much time what is TRL and what is not TRL, etc. We will just quickly brush through so that our viewers can just remind all these steps quickly, and I will take hardly 2-3 minutes time. Ankit ji, can you help me? What is TRL, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can you see the slide? The slide
Yeah, I
is
can see this slide. Yes.
okay.
So, okay. So we can see that we start with any idea, and that we call basic principles. And every startup starts with some kind of abstract idea, and then they decide either single or in a team whether this idea is doable. And then with the help of mentors, helpers, they develop technology concept, and then they start doing the experimental, because finally proof of concept has to be basically developed. But the next course, 4, 5, 6, technology validation, technology validated in relevant environment, and then last one, technology demonstrated. Demonstration is very, very difficult, not very easy. We demonstrate, but people do not appreciate. We again prepare ourselves, rebuild ourselves, again do the same kind of demonstration with improved features. Again, that is not acceptable by the customer. And this is quite frustrating phase. During this time, funding is required in sufficient measure. And I really commend the great efforts of our SIIC, which has really created some small fund that really helps whenever somebody needs in time. And several times is being basically they pay, repay, receive, and again repay. That kind of facilities are there. Something like working capital. And that basically works, like oxygen. So, I mean, Dr. Nikhil ji has really taken a lot of initiatives in having collaborations, particularly from the government sectors, BIRAC, etc. Professor Amitabh Bandyopadhyay has really done wonderful job. Professor Ankush Sharma ji. And because of this, we feel that out of 90, this should be the target, Dr. Nikhil ji, that out of 190 incubatees, can we see that the success rate goes significantly higher. TRL is one measure. There are other levels also, readiness, like investment readiness, that is another thing. But here we are concentrating on technology readiness. So what we will do, we will not go in more details from 1 to 9, just we will concentrate from 4 to 6. And we have two wonderful startups. And I am fortunate to basically have been mentoring Ankit Patel. He's a Aquafront. Basically, it's a matter of satisfaction that he has started with design, completely Indian design. And we approached giant customer like Gale. And Gale, we know that they go by few quotations, 3 quotations minimum. We convinced them. And on the strength of our design, they accepted and they gave us initial order of some 3 crore rupees, which is a big thing for any startup in Indian conditions. And that is a really matter of satisfaction. Ankit Patel will basically spend some 10-12 minutes time, particularly focusing on how did he plan along with his team, and then cruise through. I'm using the word cruise through 4 to 6, and now proudly, as Dr. Nikhil Sahab said, that now he is at level 8. So no looking back. Can we replicate out of 190 incubatees some similar innovative kind of thing, and we can achieve higher success? I think that is what our objective should be, and that is the purpose of our seminar also, so that we keep improving ourselves and higher level of successes we achieve. So Ankit ji, I think that you can take over.
Thank you, sir. So a very good afternoon to all the people who have joined today to means in this session, and I would like to thank the SIIC team for bestowing this opportunity upon us at AIPL to brief everyone about our journey and how we sailed through this valley of death. So it's true that this TRL scale is, it's very essential, but at the same time, means when when thinking in an engineering perspective, we think of it as rudimentary, which is sometimes very harmful for us in the long term, because we need to plan for each and every stage. So what this TRL scale does is it offers us an opportunity to align our strategies at each of these stage, that how we are going to cross a particular stage, with how much work, with how much manpower, with how much resources spent. First advantage is this. Second advantage is it helps us to impress our clients with the kind of progress that we are making in quantifiable terms. So apart from these two, it's really upon the engineering team and the marketing team to sail through these kind of skills. So moving right ahead to the way that we completed this kind of these kind of challenges. We are basically an infrastructure company who have products in the flotation sector. We make modular flotation products which help for inland and offshore marine explorations. Now, as in our product-wise journey, we have our 3 products in the market as of moment, and we are further working on 1 more product to tap the energy market. So quickly moving to the product slide, so that I will be able to explain everyone a bit better. Just give me a sec. Yes. So These four are our products which are currently in the market. So as you can see, we have the high density polyethylene cubes, then we have the SIFJ, then we have the modular parts and the floating solar beams. So one by one, I'm going to brief you that how our team achieved this and what sort of inputs it took. First, we can talk about the SIFJ. So this comprises of two components, which is high density polyethylene, which is a shell plastic, and then mild steel or aluminum frame. So this is the product that with which we launched our company in the market. And we launched it at a level of 3. And means upon reaching level 3, we decided that yes, we can incorporate a company and we can start selling this market and start compiling the inquiries that we are having. So based on those inquiries, this product developed itself in multiple stages. With each product, with each shipment that we are making out of our production, this product got on improving. And this is what is called as organic stage of growth. So upon reaching a fourth stage, if you are assessing the market requirements correctly at the same time while you are building your product, then the product and market fit will be there. Focus on this term, product market fit, because it is what makes the call of success or failure. So if you are so I will repeat myself, if you are taking the market requirements at the same time and improvising your product category, then it's a sure shot success, because you will never never lose your direction just in engineering perspective, because all the time engineering is not necessary. Sometimes it's the feedback of the end user which should be incorporated in the product to make it successful. So this is one thing, this is one way of focusing on it. Now once we are able to implement it on a pilot scale with some pumping companies, basically for floating pump pontoon, after that means it was time for us to gain more orders and to prove it more economical, or to prove the strength of our product in terms of our competitors. For that, there comes the second stage. Even after crossing the TRL 6 level, to get recurring orders, TRL 7 and 8 are equally difficult. And for that, in this current session, since we are here from infrastructure sector, another startup is also here from defense sector. These two are one of the sectors which have the highest threshold of go-to-market journey. So it means that the maximum efforts are taken to show the product growth, because the infrastructure that we need to develop is massive. Then the machineries that we need to order are also very expensive. The research facilities where we can build such things also cost a lot. So for all these things, there is a simpler way. You can first focus on the product certification, which means that if during the phase of development, if you can get some of the certificates which your client prefers, like in our case, it was with IRS, which is Indian Register of Shipping. Then it was from CPET, which is Central Institute of Plastic Engineering Technology. Then it was from Spectrolab and Shriram Institute. So we started obtaining those kind of certificates while we were developing our product. So once we started approaching the customer, we went with such an approach that our product is certified as per the competitors or even higher. This will help you make more sales right after the product is developed. So one more thing is there to increase sales and to get more feedback from the market. You will have to take the advisory network in your means you have to work under the advisory network with some senior advisors, with some industry mentors who can connect you with the clients, because going as a startup, people often do not show a lot of trust on new companies. So for that, you need to have someone in your board who believes actually in your technology and in your engineers and in your team. So that particular mentor will prove very crucial in the go-to-market journey after the product has been developed. Engaging the mentors right from the development stage is always beneficial because they also get to understand what sort of things are there as USPs. Okay, so moving on to the next product. So in this, like I explained, in this particular product, we were basically in the SIFJ1, we were basically growing from 1 to 9, and like we started setting up our factory in 2019, and we have a fully commercial factory right now, and we are building new factory in Kanpur to undertake the manufacturing of SIFJ as well as the new products that we are developing. So coming to the next product, now this has a surprising journey. It went right from the third stage to the 7th and 8th stage. We'll tell you how was it possible. If you will trace the timeline, in 2018 we launched the SIFJ. In 2021 we could go with the modular barge, but the kind of trust that we had in the market, the kind of certifications that we had, the kind of connect with the certification bodies, that enabled the client to trust that we can actually improve our product more and make modular barges, which needed higher infrastructure than we had. So it was really tough to make such kind of blocks because the load bearing capacity of this particular pontoon goes up to 10 ton per meter square, which means in a 1 by 1 meter area, you can load 10,000 kgs. So to sustain that, so to make such kind of product, of course, it was very complicated. These were heavy cubes that were to be built. But then we were able to do it and get a proven track record with GAIL India Limited, as well as with various cement companies. So this is how you means with these examples, actually, we want to explain the benefit of product diversification. So if you have completed your journey with one product from TRL1 to TRL9, then it's pretty much easier for you to launch another product in the same market segment, but a lot quicker. So these are the few learnings which I wanted to impart. There is also third product in which we are at TRL7, which is floating solar beams. It is essentially floating concrete. So that's it from my side. I think Jaishankar sir can take over. And thank you, Jaishankar sir, for bestowing this opportunity upon us. Thanks a lot.
Wonderful. By the way, I can see a few names: Ravi Pandey, Kajal Srivastav. Ravi Pandey, thank you very much. This year, we are proudly saying that NIRF, we are #1 in innovation category. And I think substantial part of this success should go to you. You have really worked very, very hard towards IPR and many very difficult things. It was not very easy. So thank you very much. Kajal Srivastav is here. Recently, she came to Bangalore, and we are just trying her Nadi Pulse. Nadi Pulse is doing wonderful job. In fact, Modi ji, our Prime Minister, he invited her 4 times. And so these are the people who basically help improve the status of our institute. And we believe that this NIRF is rank #1, it's not very easy to stay at rank #1 all the time. We have to just keep working very, very hard to remain at this position. And we should also try for other areas to get NIRF rank #1. This is only innovation. So this is our wish. So now next speaker, thank you very much, Ankit ji, wonderful. In fact, Prime Minister has really given you very high regards for your products, success, and wish you all the best.
Yes.
Akshay Singh ji of Abhigue. Akshay ji, he is a young boy like Ankit and very innovative, and he has developed technology that is basically global in quality, and its reach, if it is given proper opportunity, it can do wonderful job globally. There is good traction in the different departments, DRDO and other places. So Akshayji, you please come on the board. Please explain us, how did you do that?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Thanks a lot for giving the opportunity, sir. And thanks a lot, all the senior panelists and IIT professors, senior researchers. So we have a great respect towards the researchers, and thank you for giving us the opportunity and making us our part. So, and welcome to all the students and all the budding entrepreneurs and all the, I would say, young entrepreneurs who might be already working on certain ideas and might have registered the companies also. So on this opportunity, I think sir has already spoken very nicely. Ankit have given a very detailed view, and he explained a good amount of things which it takes to get above that TRL phase, which is a very tough phase from 4 to 6. And so I will just give a little brief of what we do, and then I will come to some pointers which I would like to share with you all, so that it might be helping you in your journey. So what we do is we are working on certain intelligence related products. So we are a company which right now is working into certain products which gets intelligence across the borders, sometimes into the homeland areas, internal areas, and provide our forces the right time inputs to act at the right time, and get clear of the plans of the enemies. So that majorly includes softwares also, and majorly includes software plus hardware. So it works in a combinational of devices. So majorly our customers are the intelligence forces, the army, and the MHA. So here we are working. Yes, we are working in some projects with the DRDOs. We are working in some project with the defense PSUs, and good amount of traction is there. And we are hoping big in to achieve in the next couple of years. Like our global expansion plan is already up, and we might be expanding to US and Europe in the coming time. So that's a little brief. So depending on the kind of securedness of the technology, I can speak only this much about it. So yeah, and so now I will come to certain pointers which I would like to share with you all. So which I think you can personally take up. Some you might have already been taking up that, but might be unknown about it, or you might be aware about it too. So the first pointer is, I will talk on 5 pointers only. So the first pointer is in this journey of 4 to 6 TRL, there is a very important role of your team. So be very careful when you are hiring some people. Be very careful when you are making the team, because when you are small, you have to be very vigilant. You cannot hire somebody who is into your relationship, who is your good friend, who is a good person, or who might be having good knowledge but might not be a good team player. So you need somebody who can work with you in the high and up, and high and low times, and at the same time be ready to like put up a lot of efforts if it is a technology company especially. So that is a very important thing. So building a strong team is very important, and giving them time. So sometimes we see that the startups who raise fund, and also the startups who like to take a good leap into the growth in the side of orders as well. So they start hiring some like say good talent, definitely, but they start paying the hefty prices for that, and sometimes they don't perform, and then we start firing him. It is never a good thing. So you must I would rather suggest, when you are small, you must hire the people whom you can at least train to some extent. So if you can train, you can give them some time, they will also mold to that areas which you are working into, because generally the startups is focusing towards a need. So there might be a new advancement in the technology, there might be a new modernization in the technology. So all those things are requires a lot of time. So it is not like that somebody might be having experience of 10 years into that particular area and he will help you right away. So he might be requiring 1 year again, and same person with experience of 2 years can also do the same job with 1 year. So you should be ready for to give your team that kind of time for that 1 year, for that 2 years, for that 3 years, so that they can grow. So you need to grow with that team, and that's why having a small team is good and important. So you don't have, definitely there will be a lot of workload, but you have to manage that. Yeah, so this is the first point. A team which is strong, and at the same time you give them the right amount of times. The slow pace movement is very important. Then second is having the right amount of and some very important mentors in life. So it is not just about the company, it is about the life also. You must have some very important mentors. So I always speak that I'll be very fortunate that I got the right mentors at the right phases of my life. If I talk about school, if I talk about college, if I talk about my research works, my company which I was working with earlier, and then I started here and Jesser. So I have been very fortunate to have some good mentors, and so this helped our company also, that we were fortunate to bring in some good mentors on board, so that we can get their experience, because they might not be having experience very detailed into the tech which you are working into, but they might be having experience into the business which have some particular same rules, same unsaid rules. So they can teach you that, and which will help you in the journey. And be very open to discuss those ideas of yours with those mentors. So I'm not saying that to every mentor you have to discuss everything, but when you finalize that 1 or 2 or 3 or mentors for you, like say in 3 particular areas, or like say into just one area, so you need to discuss your plan with them. You need to be open about your idea with them. So that is very important. And your strategies, you need to discuss with them, and then only they will suggest you the right path. So having the right mentors is a very, very important thing, especially into the 4 to 6 phase, because it's a very tricky phase, I would say, because there will be a lot of ups and downs, and there will be a lot of very important decision making which will involve in this time. So this is the second point, having some very good mentors. Then third point is being frugal. So yeah, you might be raising fund, you might be since IIT is itself a big tag, so you might get a lot of people's confidence. So some people will like give you fund at the right time. You might be able to get a flood of funds also at some point of time, but you need to be frugal. You cannot spend too high till the time you start earning. So be frugal in your steps. So if you are planning like say, if you have raised like say 1 CR, and your run time of 1 CR is like say 1 year, you have showed to all the investors and everything, but in the back of the mind you must know that it should run at least to 1.5 years a minimum, so that you have additional time to do to take some risk, and to also give your team the right time, which was discussed in the point number 1. So this is very, very important. The point number 3, making the right plans, is very important, and keeping an exigency is very, very important again. So like say, you all must always have an exigency fund always kept in your pocket, in your company's pocket. So that is very important. Then number 4 is definitely a good relationship. It is very important. You might have worked with some very good professors in your college time. You might have worked with some industry people also. Those relationships will help you maybe in some later phases of your life also. But that is very important sometimes for a startup to partner with some companies for some rightful needs, because everything you cannot do in-house. So you have to partner, and for that some good industry relationships is very important. And they also say that people take you places, and also having the right company of friends, whether be in business, whether be anywhere else. So it's very, very important. So that is one of the major things which you must note. So fourth point was having good relationship, and then fifth is having a like. So this is coming on the product development side, because fourth at 4 to 6 phases is especially on the product development part. So here you require to manage your talent, and at the same time the meetings, all those things, you have to manage it very, very nicely in a very scientific way. You cannot pressurize your team to have a detailed meeting every day. It will always like build up a lot of pressure on their brains, and they will just work on what you say, not what they can also think, they can also research, or they can also find out. So you must give them the time to learn that. So small meetings are very good. You should not have a long meeting, but the detailed reviews are very, very important. And that, like say, every 7th day or every 5th day or every 15th day, there should be a detailed review. You must spend time with your team, with each of the member also. So that is very important, and that will help you to understand their exact problem, even if you are not from a tech background. But since we are here speaking at IIT, we understand that majorly you are into the tech background and you are working into the tech startups. But you might not be understanding all the technology, right? So that is very important that you understand their problems as well when you spend for a good time with them in a detailed review. So this is the fifth point, which is very important, because see, TRL 1 to 3 is majorly the research phase.
Ankit, the slide is not moving. We're stuck on the Y's.
Yeah, so not much content after that. I think Akshay is covering all of the points. Short not here in PPT.
Yeah, it's not the PPT, ma'am. It's just
Okay, wait. Okay.
right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's just the knowledge which we are imparting. So that is the thing. So that's I would say informal kind of talk which we are having. So so that is so last I would just end it up with this point, that TRL 1 to 3 is a phase where a lot of R&D is involved. It takes a lot of time. TRL 4 to 6 is a time where there will be a lot of ups and downs, where when you spend a good amount of time in the first phase, you also understand the problems, the meaning of relationship into the whole scenarios, the tie-ups which you might have done, the frugalness which you might have showed. All this will help you in the 4 to 6 phase, and don't hurry up, and you will come out of this phase very, very in a very strong way. So there will be a lot of hiccups, there will be a lot of ups and downs. So that's why it is very, very important to note all those 5 points which I think I have spoken about, and now we are open to questions. So
Yeah.
thanks a lot for giving me the time.
Thank you, Akshay and Ankit. Sir, मेरे पास 2-3 questions हैं. I'll take them up and either of you could choose to answer. So first question is, what strategies have you found most effective for validating the market need for your defense solutions? It says especially while dealing with TRL 4 to 6 technologies.
Yeah, especially for the defense, if the question is there. Yeah. In the defense now, the market has changed in the last 2 years, especially. The IDEX, the TDF, all these things have been brought in. The ADB. There is a lot of detailed challenges which the forces are already throwing up. So, which is telling the actual need of the forces. So even if you say, I understand that this sector is very closed, and you cannot meet everybody and understand the need, and there will be a small battalion which will say that we need this, but actually there is not too much need of that same thing. So it might be a small need of 10 lakh rupees only, but you are thinking that this will give you a business of 10 CR. So it won't happen. So rather than doing small talks with small divisions, battalions, and places, it's better to first see that what all problem statements it is coming. In the last 2 years, there is a lot of problem statement which has already been thrown. So if you are aligning with that, then you can go to the right department. Even their email IDs is mentioned, even the phone numbers are mentioned. You can request for a meeting. You can directly approach them and they will respond to you. And yeah, sometimes it will take a lot of time. So defense business requires a lot of patience. So you cannot be very pushy that you have created the product, now you have you can sell it right away. So it takes a lot of time. Sometimes they will also come back again and update the technical specifications again. So that will also happen. But right now, the best way at this stage is to understand the problem statement, which is already there. And there is a lot of people in the arena which is there to help. Like ADB is there, IDEX people are there. Their cell is very, very active. And then there is DRDO is there, TDF. Yeah.
So thank you, Akshay, for the question. Another question is for Ankit. So Ankit, you talked about the market fit, product market fit. Someone wishes that you elaborate on the process of doing it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. So this is particularly the point where most of the startups struggle because means especially those founders who graduate and then start the company right away, because they lack in sometimes the corporate experience that we can say that could have helped them to assess the product market fit better in their particular domain of expertise. So if a team is there which does not have much experience in hand to correlate the market requirements, then first advice would be to reach out to mentors who can validate their requirement in the market. The second would be to reach out to the customers directly. This is the most essential step. Like, I will give you an example how we did it. So while assessing market requirement for our product, we opened Google Maps, tried, we traced out the rivers, tried calling each and every resort who is there present on across a river, and then we explained our product to them. So it was just two of us, myself and Achin. We both are batchmates, and we both did this exercise. We both assessed each of the requirements, and we spoke to around 2000 resorts that which type of floating jetty would they prefer if we want to sell in the tourism sector. So and then it was evident that yes, they do need, and out of those 2000, only 2 or 3 turned out who actually had this infrastructure. Rest were open for this for this infrastructure to be set up at their place. So it's just an example in our case. There are many other ways to do in your particular domain. And like, we are not just selling in the tourism sector, we are also selling in the water pumping sector, in the hydropower dams, and then in the oil and gas sector. So now we have diversified the product portfolio, but we started with one segment. We caught one segment and we went to the grassroots level, which is the grassroots level which will help us to develop our product. So once we had so many inputs from around 2000 customers, then we selected those inputs, that which input we can actually incorporate in our product. And then we approached again to some big customer that yes, this is our refined product, can you buy it? And yes, they did. So our first client was from Pune, and the deal went entirely on phone. They did not even wanted to see us. They were like, take the money, do the job. And that was the kind of confidence which our 2000 calls gave us, that we were able to convince them so honestly. So this is just one example. I'm not saying that you need to become a BPO employee or something. It's just that to assess this requirement, you have to find your own way. You have to connect to the grassroots, connect to the customer. That is the most important thing. Try to speak to them what sort of product they will buy, what do you have right now, and then try to improvise it in the 4 to 6 stage. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you, Ankit.
Thank you.
Okay. So now there is another question from Ravi. So he asked, his question is to Akshay. He is asking, what is the average time taken for transitioning from TRL 4 to 7, as per your experience?
It totally depends on the industry. So if you are in a industry which is giving good fruits at the right time, so you might come out of it very, very quickly. But yeah, so when you are into the startup, you must be ready that you have to spend for the next 5 years in a very tough phase. And post that, you will be like in a little stability side. So that 5 years is very important. Earlier, yeah, it used to be 3 years. I used to understand, but yeah, after 3 years, it becomes little easier and streamlined, a little streamlined. But yeah, after 5 years, it becomes like more stability, which you might be seeking, which generally people start seeking on the job side as well. So yeah, that much time it will take. So be ready for that journey. So I cannot tell you that from 4 to 6 you might how much time you might take. Depends totally on the industry, but in general, in a startup, minimum you think that 3 years it will take. Might be possible that for the first 2 years you might have no sales at all. It depends on the business. If you are dealing with the government, it might happen. Very, very probable.
Sure. To you only, Akshay. So the question is, what regulatory, in case of certifications or standard hurdles have you encountered? Have you overcome them while progressing from TRL 4 to 6 in the defense sector?
Yeah, see, generally, there are a lot of certification involved when you come into the manufacturing of big devices into the defense. Like say, when you talk about armored vehicle, when you talk about a bulletproof vest, so that kind of things requires a lot of certification. Like say, TBRL lab is there at Chandigarh, so you need to get certification of your product from there. It involves some amount of money. So all those things are there. But the good part is, in the last 2 years, government has come up to the support of the startups, that in the starting phase, you just need a DPIIT certificate, which is just a general startup certificate. You just need that. And based on that, you can straight away go into various places, and wherever all the certification, what all certifications are required, they will guide you. So startups, they are treating in a very nice way. So there is not that particular issue. Plus, yeah, it is suggested that you can take some ISOs depending on your technology. ISOs is not very difficult to take. People generally don't know this, but ISOs is not very difficult to take. And some basic quality standards to be meet, and you can just take the ISOs and things. And you can later be also a member of certain groups like SIDM. Such kind of groups are important. Those groups helps you be aware about the latest developments, and also you can because some panelists are common, especially into the certification side. So you develop good relationships, and later on it helps you in getting the certifications quickly also sometimes. Yeah, because they generally know you.
Thanks,
Actually,
Akshay.
I can add to it
Sir,
that
please.
in the last 3 to 4 years, procurement process in defense sector has really been quite encouraging to startups. Before that, it was little tough because one never knew where to go, what to do, which person to follow, what certification to be developed so that some entry is there. But in the last 3 to 4 years, I mean, many things have opened, and particularly when in the first phase, some 100 plus items, defense items, when they were banned for imports, then after that, people realized, and particularly our own Dr. Ajay Kumarji, he really has contributed greatly towards this. And Akshay is lucky that we have one mentor directly from the Defense Department who basically has expertise in procurement processes. So we will like to emphasize this methodology for startups, that procurement processes are not known to many startups. They should know that, and then accordingly go back, work back, and then know about the certifications needed, etc., etc. Because when you have the target set before you, then you can spend your time more fruitfully and with more level of confidence. I think Akshay is basically working towards that, and he has got good successes in certification, etc. And that is why he is basically boldly going to the departments and with good tractions. Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you, sir. So there's another question which deviates a bit. So it's asking, can you suggest some tips and your personal experience on how to hire the first employees, especially during the TRL 2 to 3? And what is the right time to hire? Ankit,
Ankit,
maybe. Yeah.
Ankit, I mean, you should be expert because you have been doing this.
Yes. Yeah, sure. So in the early stage, since we have very few resources, and to delegate some of these resources toward hiring a manpower, it's a very tough decision, and it
Yeah.
needs to means the founders need to proceed towards it very carefully. Uh, so like in our case, it was essentially related to the operations part. Means we just need to identify where is the gap in our existing processes. So like I was solid on the sales and means some marketing part and fundraising part. Achin has been solid on the tech part. So since we both were promoters and he was entirely focused on building the technology, so we needed someone who can see our product till the ground. So that was evident that yes, we need to hire in the operations because we needed to fill that gap on priority. So after that, we started looking for candidates, and we started floating. We floated our requirement on social media portals as well as in our close network of IIT BHU, that if someone can align with us right from this early stage. So if some senior person is coming along with some experience in the sector, it's the best thing. But means to team up with him and bring in your team. And means if of course it's difficult to hire experienced people, but then always you have the sweat equity, you have the ESOP and other kind of options which you can use to actually leverage that kind of talent in your team from the very early stage. If you want to go very cash conservative, then you can hire freshers. But then again, the founders will have to keep a very close watch on these freshers because as far as the client is concerned, first impression is the last impression. So if there is, it means you have to keep their interaction minimum until they are fully trained, because whenever they will speak to someone, either your vendor or your client or your consultant or any other technology counterpart, then it's always a risk while means getting freshers involved in these kind of interactions. So you need to train them properly first, and then you can ask them to take up the job. So at least you can keep up a training period of around 1 month. You should consider that in the starting of 1 month, it's only about you training them and not them doing some job.
Thanks, Ankit.
Good question. Good answer.
Sandeep Kumar Singh ji, thank you so much for your appreciation. His questions are, what are the most effective way to get investment for startups, and what care shall we take while incorporating the startup so that compliances continue to be smooth in future? Jaishankar Sarji, would you like to answer the question, what is the effective way to get investment for startups?
Yes, why not? Investment is, that is always necessary. As soon as we have the idea at initial stage, then maybe that for some time, initial period, few months, till somebody validates it. But then after that, at the level of POC, stage level 3, definitely we need some fund, depending on the complexity of the POC. So funding is available, and being fundable is definitely an art. And basically, we help startups to basically package their POC, at least the initial stage POC, in such a way that that should become attractive to the customers, to the market, in immediate to near almost 1 year or 2 year need should be basically there in the market. Then funders basically help. Because funders, after all, they want their return as fast as possible. They cannot wait for several years. So basically, we have to basically uh, packaging, but then package should have the strength. Idea should have the strength. It should fill the need of the market, and so it's basically that way. It's a dynamic relationship be there. Your idea has to be good. Your approach to the right kind of funding that should be there, and funder should believe that yes, your team is good, your idea is good, therefore let's fund you and take some risk. So it's a dynamic and a lot of fundings are happening successfully. Both of our Ankit and Akshay are the examples. They get fund, and Ankit has several times that they have taken money from SIIC, paid back, took money again, paid back, took money again without any default. So their credit worthiness should be there. So I think that very right kind of mentoring should be helpful in getting right amount of fund at right time.
Sir, I would like to add something, sir,
Please.
as well. So basically, sir, since we are discussing TRL 4 to 6 stage, so the best kind of funding options that the founders can avail is, first of all, the grant in their particular sector. And because in 4 to 6 stage, nothing is promised that whether your product will be successful or not, there is a lot of risk involved. So founders need to be very peculiar. Like Jaishankar sir said, that there are many funding options available. You need to avail them, but you need to be selective of what kind of thing you are losing out to avail that kind of fund. This concept is called as color of money. So if you are taking a debt fund to support your R&D, then that's totally repugnant. It's gonna fire back on you after some years of development. Even if your product succeeds, then also you will regret it. So therefore, the right kind of investment in such case is your own money, as well as the grants that are available while sailing through TRL 4 to 6 stage. And the bestest kind of money is the client's money. So if you are able to convince a client to fund your research, like we have done in several cases with JS sir. So JS sir has a very high reputation. So when he tells a client, then of course they are ready to pay, because he believes only in team that can actually prove on ground. So if you are having such mentors with you from early stage, if you are working in a great incubator, then yes, you can definitely bring such kind of funding in picture, where the client directly funds your research and then buys from you directly. There are several other programs such as HPCL funding and some PSUs funding, which focus on basically funding you in the early stage on grant basis. And then when your product succeeds, then they give you purchase order, and after that they take equity or anything against the funding that they have provided you earlier. So there are such also very good investment options available that you can look through with some 1 or 2 days of research. All the funding programs you can line down, see which best condition is available for you, and then tap those funds accordingly. Because at this stage, in 4 to 6 stage, the color of money is very essential. After that, once you have the credit worthiness in the market, you can go on raising from anything. You can go on raise from the market and return it back, and that will also work for you. But in this stage, you need to be very careful.
Thanks, Ankit. This was really important.
Akshayji, you can also speak a little bit because in defense,
Yes.
some of the funds are available,
Yes.
and it should be an information to the startups here. Some of the funds are available on some terms and conditions that you show your worth, we will fund you, and if everything is good, then we are going to give you the purchase assurance also, or something like that.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
yeah. Can
So,
you just give? Yeah.
G. So in defense, there is a little unsaid norm that first you have to need to get a small customer for sure. So that is required. Post that only anybody will put up any like one single penny on you, and that first small customer, even a lakh rupees customer, will play a very important role in your order. So that is very important. So rather than going out for a research fund or any of the fund, Ankit explained very nicely that what fund you need at what stage. So, into this arena, you need to have one credential, very small credential, and then it will help you to get to various funds. Like say the funds into defense are right now, IDEX is a very prominent one where they are already throwing up the challenges, where there is also open challenges. So challenges are coming from Army, Navy, Air Force, and then Coast Guards and other places also. But then there is also open challenges where you can dedicate, like say I want to target one particular wing of Army. Like say I want to target not Army, I want to target BSF, I want to target CRPF, and for that I'm just putting up my solution, and that will be directed if IDEX feels right that it is a right need, it is the need of the hour, and nobody else is doing it. It will be directed to BSF. BSF will coordinate with you, approach with you, and then later on the IDEX will come into. Now there is also a new thing which has also come into right now. Very recent. It's called IR&D funds. So it is generally taken through the government to government also. Plus, it is also supported with the government to private companies as well. Like say, if there is a need of particular thing and it is not yet developed, or it is coming from outside and you are making it indigenized or in-house or customizing it or modernizing it, what you can do is you can approach that particular command or fund. You can ask them that what kind of IR&D fund, indigenization R&D fund you are having, so that you can utilize that and you can make that kind of product ready for them. So that measure is there. But this is one I will also talk about more. So like say it is TDF DRDO fund is there. So it can range from 10 CR to 50 CR. So that is also there. So this is also there for bigger projects as well. So like some people are creating bridges which can float on water. So that kind of funds is also there for the army, so that they can put up the tanks crossover. So that kind of funds is also available. IDEX is ranging from 1 CR to 10 CR. So there is a huge amount of fund which is available, but yes, it is not a very quick process. Army Design Bureau is also having funds. So similarly, it's the research wing of Army. Similarly, Navy, Air Force, all the research wing have their own funds. So they have their own challenges also, which they keep throwing from time to time. Plus, at the same time, you can talk to them for like a dedicated new project, which you might think that it is a need and they might not have it, or they require it and they are right now getting it from some foreign OEM. So that is available. But yeah, be ready that it will take a lot of time if you are talking about a fund which is coming from a defense party. But yes, you can also raise from angel investors. You can definitely get some grants depending on the stage where you are in. If you are in the early stage, in the R&D phase, you can take some grants also. But when you are matured enough to, like, you have started marketing also, you have started doing some small sales as well. So there are some angels also which can come into your company at the right time. So they can be the people who is now trusting your idea and who can also put in some expertise of them to help you in the company's growth. So that is very important. People start going to the venture partners and various other people, so which is not right at these particular stages. So it's better to go with the government. It's better to go with the incubators. Incubators are very good in this right now. They are providing good amount of funds. Like IIT Kanpur is already having a very good incubator running in. Similarly, various other government incubators are also there. Private incubators are also there. So you can go through those channels, angels, and then later on with the PE investors.
Yeah, thank you, Akshay. Thank you so much for this answer.
Thank you.
There is another question which we forgot to answer maybe. What care shall we take while incorporating the startups so that compliances continue to be smooth in future? I think either of you, Akshay or Ankit, would be great from your experience to hear about this.
Okay. Thank you. I'll add some of our experiences. So the best way to incorporate is through some online platforms, and I really don't think that approaching approaching the nearest CA is still the best way. There are many professional platforms available online. You can opt for them, and while focusing on your product, they will ensure that you get the registration at the cheapest price. After that, you need to check on the compliances, whether you are buying some products and bringing them out of your from outside your state, then you need to register for GST. As soon as you register for GST, you need to follow the monthly compliance rule. So you need to take this GST registration very carefully, whether you need it or you do not need it. Then just skip it unless you start shipping materials in or shipping materials out. Even if you are dealing within a state, it's okay to continue without a GST. If you are shipping outside state and material value more than 50,000, then you need a GST registration. Otherwise, you will face a lot of trouble. After that, while incorporating, you need to ensure that some of the checks are there, like your DSC is with you, and also your annual compliances and everything. You should discuss the charges first, क्योंकि 12-14 हजार में कंपनी रजिस्टर तो हो जाएगी, बट उसकी nil filing करने में भी at least 5,000 10,000 you have to spend year on year. So and if you are going to skip this, if you are going to skip your director KYC renewal and or any single thing, then the penalties are exorbitantly high. So first make essential checks that whatever registrations you are obtaining, what is the annual, means are they do they require quarterly compliance, monthly compliance, or annual compliance, and then keep it at the back of your head, or give it to someone, means give this responsibility, delegate it to someone within your team whom you trust very much. And also when we go for the compliance on the last date, it's not really sure that the compliances will be ensured, because first of all, the CA will not accept any such thing on the last minute. Secondly, the portals are really ineffective during the last minute. So to ensure compliance, you need to be active 1 week before at least. So these are few checks, and then you will be okay. Apart from that, there are some also checks like TDS and annual income tax return. So once you have registered your company and once you have obtained your DIPP certificate, then you need to be sure that you apply for the tax exemption part as well, which will require you sending your PPT and getting an exemption from the DIPP department again. That startup certificate does not ensure that you will not pay any tax. You have to get the tax exemption physically or through another application by submitting it on the portal. Apart from that, there are some registration compliances needed to start selling on portals like GEM, which is government e-marketplace. If you are dealing in the B2G and B2B sector, you need to be sure that you get all those compliances done from your chartered accountant only, who is looking after your incorporation. If you are going for an online one, then you need to hire someone to take care of the GEM part. So yes, these are the few checks. This will ensure that you start selling as well as quick as possible.
Sure. Thank you. I have two quick last questions we'll be taking. So the another question is, they're looking for key learnings in product development and customer adoption. We've heard from Ankit a bit about what his strategy he put for getting customers. Akshay and maybe Jaishankar Sharma sir, maybe if you could also highlight some of your views for the same.
Sir, please.
Yeah, Akshay, go ahead.
आप शुरू कीजिए, थोड़ा सा मैं बोल दूंगा.
ठीक है सर, ठीक है. So there is one very important point which I would like to highlight, that product development, if you, especially when you are coming from an IIT background, you are coming from a research background, you are coming from a knowledgeable background. So product development is sometimes endless. So you need to understand then that where is the stage you have to start selling it. And if you don't understand, that is also that also happens, then you need to start talking to customers. You need to start meeting the customer and start selling informally also. So that will help you at least to like to recognize that this is the phase that, or this is the target where your product is at least ready for the I would say version 1 is ready. So you need to understand that. And at the same time, the customer need is also endless. So once you have delivered one product, he will also always ask few more things. So there is always the SOPs, there is always the criterias which you have to, like if it is a software, if it is a hardware, it's a different way. But like say, just to give you an example, in a software, we generally always make a if like say if it is a web dev kind of thing, and then it's a just given public example, then we create a wireframe kind of thing. So you have to get it approved from the customer and everything. So similarly in the case of the software, that this is how the software will look like broadly, and at the same time these all are the features. At max the ranges will be this, at max there will be these errors, and there is this scope of errors are there. So all those things has to be very clearly and very efficiently mentioned, so that you are clear with the customer on all the pointers. So because there the project can be of 10 lakhs, the project can be of 10 CR, but it should not run endlessly. So that is very important, because
Sorry.
so that is very, very important. So I think that is from my side, sir. Please add more to it, sir.
Yeah, basically regarding this, I can give two perspectives, because customer is always the king. So my observation is that majority, more than 80% kind of cases, we make our product because customers need them. So first market research and then product development. But in very small cases like Apple, example is that they were convinced that they will first make the product, then they would come in the market. And we all know how Apple products caught the market instantaneously. So in normal way, customer need, and as Akshay said, that customer needs are endless. Similarly, I mean, if customer needs are endless, then our opportunities are also endless. We need such an environment, then only we can grow. So in that case, we have to put an end to some stage, develop, and then sell it, earn some money, and parallelly go on doing development. But then some sale must take place. That is, customers must get satisfied at your initial products. And that, that relationship, product development, then improved sales, product development, then improved sales, that continues. During this time, you get good traction with the customers, you get good rapport with the customers, and that's it. That is how a good startup never looks back. He always is trusted by the customers. Customers keep on coming to them for product development. So this is how we succeed.
Thank you, sir. एक last question है, but before taking up the question, I would like to thank everyone for pinning a lot of points for me. कि हमें कई बार हम जब स्टार्टअप से बात करते हैं, so we understand कि उनको issues कहाँ आ रहे हैं. बहुत छोटे-छोटे issues होते हैं जो कि हम address नहीं करते हैं. Like अभी सर ने बोला कि एक आइडिया को validate कैसे करना है, वो भी बहुत जरूरी है शुरू करने से पहले. So thank you for all those points that you have brought to me. I have noted that down. And the last question we'll be taking up is, so this is directed to Akshay. You have emphasized about having a strong team. In a startup setting, how do you negotiate salaries and other perks? How do you keep the motivation going over long periods?
Yeah, see, it's always a team. You have to just we just have to stop using the word employees and all those things, because in the subconscious mind of yours also, you need to just keep it intact now that it's a team which you are creating, and a team is as strong as the weakest member of the team. So that is one of my major, I would say, line which I always keep in my mind. So you have to hire like slowly, 1, 2, 3 people. You should not like there is a corporate environment you have to create. You have to have 10 people, you have to have 20 people who should work like that, and that is a later phase. But in the start, you need a like pinpoint focus. You need people to work on the right modules. You need, like, say, if it is a hardware product, if it's a software product, there are modules in everything which you can divide it into. So you need the expert of those modules, and expert are not sometimes you have to get from the market with 10 years of experience. You can get the expert which have the fundamentals good. So you need to judge the fundamentals. Also, there was an earlier question which was asking about the how to hire and all those things. So in hiring, it is very, very important to judge the character of the person. So you need to be very good with the people. So that's not something which a book can quickly teach you, but definitely a lot of books will help you a lot, because books is one of the best teachers. But you need to develop that skill to understand the people, and that skill will help you that what exactly that person needs. If he actually is interested in your equity, so because there is a lot of ESOP option, is all the startups have it right now. But it's actually it was very important, I would say 3 years back. But now when people are getting the salary perks of they are getting the increment from 6 lakh per annum to 24 lakhs per annum by like in a span of 2 months or 3 months. So how will you ensure it with that ESOP? So your ESOP worth like say at that moment maybe 10 lakhs. So it is not worth for him. So he needs to be very aligned, or he or she needs to be very aligned with the idea. So that's what I'm saying. It's a team which you are building. It's a character which you are judging right now. So no need to offer the, this is my, I would say, personal advice. No need to offer the ESOP. Have a ESOP pool, but no need to offer the ESOP in the front end, because else that person will be only greedy about the ESOP. And if you are even offering the ESOP, offer it with a very strong legal binding that you won't be able to sell it till the company gets to that stage, or that all that thing. So there is a lot of legal should be very strong, definitely. That is something which I believe. So that negotiations are totally based on the character of the person, and you need to have the people who can who believe in the idea and is ready to work with you for a longer run. Like say if I divide a person working with me, uh, I give an internship plus PPO offer. I give it 6 months internship, and then you come to a PPO, and I give a confirmed PPO to you. But you have to show that character that you are ready to work with an internship part in the first 6 months. If somebody passes through that phase, it's a very tough phase. If I personally be at that level, I understand that it's a very tough phase. And at some time, even as a founder, as a company, one of the senior management member, I can say that I sometimes feel like that I can promote that person and like waive off that internship period. But you should not do that. And those tough choices you have to make, because there is a standard which you are setting. There is the system which you are making in the company, and this will eventually help you in taking the right decisions, because it's very important. Sometimes you have to let go the right amount of very good talent also. So that is also important, because let it be. If you are living 2 sales or 3 sales, it's okay, you can sell 2 months later also. But if you get a bad person in the team, you might get closed in the next 6 months. That's very important.
So Akshay, for all three of you, I have one question which like tricks me always. Organizational structure कितना important है एक company में for a startup, and when is the right time for establishing this structure?
Ma'am, शुरुआत अगर if I talk about the organization structure in the start, as I said, we work in the start as a team. So a leader should always there is not a CEO, there is not a director. It's just a designation which you have to put up in the email formally, but else it's not required. So a leader should lead from the front, like say like in the Indian cricket team, the Dhoni is doing it, he putting up a lot of efforts and all those things. So we have seen a lot of people, Indian Army especially. So you see that in Indian Army, all the majors, all the captains, like say every person who is leading the battalions, who is leading their groups, they go the first. They don't go like say after their soldiers, after their juniors. They go first. So if there is a hit, if there is somebody, some sniper is sitting, they might be the first one to get the hit. So that should be the character in the company always. So you must show always that kind of work ethics, you must show that kind of character, you must show that kind of hard work, which will make you a leader. And if somebody else is also a leader, is acting a leader, or he is showing that kind of skills, so you must promote that person, you must also recognize that person. So recognizing those skills is also very important, because you might not be the best, you might have started the company, you might be the founder, but there might be a better CEO than you. It might be very, very possible. So all those things you have to recognize, that is very, very important. And structures can come in later, but yes, a right amount of board, right amount of advisors, that is important. So they can be named as the senior management. Then there is a group which works together, and then there is a leader which is representing that group. So this is a structure which should be there at least in the first 5 years, and then we can later denote it to various kind of different structures. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Ankit.
I would agree entirely with Akshay. The organization structures are not really helpful in the early startup age. And these are essentially applicable once the team has grown beyond 30 people, 35 people. But under that, of course, the management has to manage everything. And the organizational structure that we can implement, that is not gonna reap much fruits for us, because it's a team, not subordinates and subordinates. It's not like that. It's a team, and we have to look after each other in every scenario. And the thing is that sometimes we have to hire really noobs, freshers, and means there is tendency of people. Always, it's India, of course, so they will always tell you that this person is not competitive, whom have you sent for inspection, this person doesn't know this stuff, this. So all these kind of complaints will be there, but the only way to grow is by holding each other's hands, and then only a team can come up. Otherwise, the organizational structure essentially starts a blame game in a new startup. So we need to be very careful about it. And means while starting a new company, essentially it's about getting the job done, because that is the aim with which the company got started. So if we are focused on that, then certainly no organizational structures will be needed. It's just the work delegation that should be the focus, that who is doing what and who is delivering what. So yeah, that's our learning.
Thank you, Ankit. Sir.
ऐसा है कि I will give.
सर आप म्यूट पे हो गए. सर आप म्यूट है.
Okay, unmute. I will give you the example of Narayan Murthy ji. Because he is an alumnus of IIT Kanpur, and because I am in Bangalore, so we keep meeting. Even now we keep meeting. In fact, last week Saturday, when Alumni Center Bangalore, it was inaugurated, Professor Fani and several people came. So I can give his example. And Infosys office is very nearby where I live in Bangalore. When he was about 55, had started earning good name in the industry. Then at that stage also, he was making marketing presentation himself. And people were surprised, Are Baba, you have so many marketing people, etc., etc. Why do you do that? I said, no, because several critical things are there. And I think that let me continue doing that. And several of the deals he was negotiating. And I remember that in one case, he was quoting some 10 to 15% higher than the best in the market, like higher than IBM, etc. And he was confident that he will win this deal, and he won it. So such confidence level basically comes from, like you have heard both Ankit and Akshay. I mean, you see that the kind of young boys, they are showing their confidence, etc. This is the kind of good line of spirits. These are the spirits, they should have the confidence level. So what I mean that organization, as both of them said, Akshay and Ankit, that organization, we can wait. You first do everything. झाड़ू से लेके और सब करना पड़ता है MD को. So I think that let us achieve threshold level in terms of revenue, in terms of profitability, in terms of market acceptability. Till then, I think that lose-lose kind of organizational structure is okay.
Okay, so thank you so much to all the three speakers, everyone who has joined. I hope the session made sense to all of you and we all had a fruitful evening. Any follow-up questions from our three panelists, Jaishankar sir, Ankit and Akshay? I will certainly be able to connect you all with them.
Yes,
So,
yes,
yeah.
anytime. Anytime. We are always there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a very good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Ankit ji, Akshay ji, thank you very much
God.
Thank you, Jay
for
sir.
giving your time. I know that you
Pleasure,
both
sir.
are
Thank you,
very,
sir.
very busy,
Thank you.
struggling through various important things. Thank you very much. And we are always available for SIAC.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, sir. Thank you.